What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be taking a look at these again, the Nike Phantom GX2. This time we're doing a POV playtest. It's a really good boot. It's a really comfortable boot. It performs really well, and I kind of wanted to make this video just because since it's been out for quite a while now, I just don't want people to forget that this is an excellent boot, an excellent option. Today I'm just going to talk about like the things that I really like about this boot, and yeah, I'm just going to let you guys know like the way it performs and stuff like that, a little bit more detail now that I have been using it for a couple months now. Before we start the video, you guys could like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll just get right into it then. Alright guys, so here I have the cleats on feet, and you guys, these are just so comfortable. Every time I wear these, I just forget how comfortable they are and how like nicely they fit my foot shape. And like the shape of these boots, they are on the wider side. They have more volume to them, especially in the midfoot. In the toe box, it does come a bit to more of a narrow point. It's like the narrowest point of the boot, but for the most part it is on the wider side. So for me, since I do have a wider foot, sorry for the background noise, I'm just in a busy street, or the field is located next to a busy street. But if you have a wider foot, like, you guys should be really happy with these. If you have a narrow foot, I feel like you might feel like you have a little bit more space in the midfoot. In the toe box you should be fine, but in the midfoot you might feel like you have a little bit more volume and it might be annoying. But for me, I don't mind that just because it's just a little bit more comfortable. Like the knitted upper, the grip knit is just so soft, and the break-in time is actually pretty minimal, maybe just a little bit, like a few minutes for the upper to warm up. But honestly, like, you don't really need that much time to break these in. I'm completely honest with you guys. Maybe not so much when I'm juggling. Yeah, but the touch on the ball, honestly, the grip knit itself is not overly thick. It is on the thinner side, I would say. Maybe the material itself does have a little bit more thickness to it, but it's not like overly like plush. I do feel like it has more like a thin feel, not a super thin feel like the Vapor, but a thinner feel than the previous model, because this one actually goes from, I think, 3 layers to like just a 1 layer upper. So in the previous model you did get more layers, and they are a bit thinner than those boots. And because the upper is a bit thinner, you do feel those ridges here. You guys can see the ridges right here. You do feel them a bit more, or they are a little bit noticeable in my opinion. Maybe they add more grip and maybe they don't, but I do feel them. Oh damn. Alright, so yeah, the ball is very wet, and so when I toss it up, all the water just splashes down. And then today we're just gonna take it easy. I actually haven't played in 2 weeks, so this is my first time back in the pitch. So we're just gonna do a light training session, and also make sure to warm up. I already did my warm up before I started the video, just because I kind of want to get that out of the way. But yeah, all right guys, so we're gonna do some ladder work. Now with this sole plate, it is the AG sole plate, which I prefer because I don't like the Cyclone 360. It's just too aggressive for obviously AG. So I just prefer the AG sole plate, and for me it's just a really good sole plate. It has a nice amount of flexibility, but still feels pretty stable in the midfoot in my opinion. So I really like it. I feel like people might not find that it's responsive enough, but for me and what I like, I honestly don't mind it. I really enjoyed the Nike Phantom GX1 sole plate, and this is basically the same thing, just with all conical studs instead. I feel like the Cyclone 360 sole plate is pretty good too. You get a good amount of traction just because it is all blades, and for the most part it's going to perform well. I just don't really like it that much. It feels a little too chunky for my taste. Alright guys, so next we have the little shuffle into a sprint, and I guess I'll talk more about the performance. And honestly, the performance of this boot is pretty good. Like, I don't think it's lacking in performance, but I don't think it's like the best either. Like, obviously, since it is a knitted upper, there is a little bit more movement, and since there is just a little bit more volume in the boot, I feel like there's just a bit more space for your foot to like move around a little bit. Not a lot, but I do find that when I cut really hard, there is just a little bit of like movement there on the side. It's nothing crazy, it still performs well obviously, but I just like to mention that there is just a little bit of movement in the midfoot. All right, here we go. And yeah, like I said, the sole plate, nothing really crazy, no real snapback to it. It's almost everything just you. It's more like a natural feel underfoot, which I prefer. All right, and the heel, that's something that is big on this boot. The heel is just super comfortable. There's a good amount of padding back there, like for it to hold your heel isn't really moving. Like, it's super comfortable. Like, the lock-in sensation is really nice, just because there is a good amount of padding there. Just holds your heel really nicely. Like right now when I'm pushing off, like there's no real like movement up and down, and I didn't find any movement side to side really, so that's good. Usually in some boots, like when you're running and pushing off, you feel just that little bit of movement in the heel, which I don't really like. The back of the heel, the plastic is kind of cut off pretty low, and so like the back part is very flexible, so there's no pressure points whatsoever. So Nike made a really like good heel with the Nike Phantom GX, in my opinion. Alright guys, I'm not the best at dribbling, but the grip knit actually does work. You do feel that there is just a little bit more grip to the boot and the upper. So for me, I actually really like it, just because I found like when you're receiving a pass and you kind of like, you're just reaching it and you kind of touch it with your toe, it just feels like you're just able to control it, and it just doesn't really like slip away, if that makes any sense. Have you guys ever had like a one where you're just reaching it with a little bit of your toes, and then like it kind of like just slips away? But for these, sometimes I find that when I'm just touching it and just a little with my toes, it just kind of just sticks a little bit more, and it's just easier to control. So that's how I know that it does actually work. And when you're dribbling, you do feel it. Like sometimes when you're dragging the ball, like it does stick a little bit more, but it's not super like annoying. It's more balanced than the first like edition, in my opinion. The first grip knit, it was just a little bit like inconsistent. Sometimes it would be too grippy at times, especially when it was dry. This one feels a little bit more balanced in the wet as well as in the dry. So like right now, like the ball is wet, the field is wet, and you know, it still feels pretty good. Keeping that in there, like I said, not the best at dribbling, but you know, it's okay. That's what practice is for. If you mess up, just do it again. Alright guys, so the last drill I have for you guys today is the cone weave. Now I actually really like doing this one. I feel like it has helped me improve my dribbling and like my touch a little bit more, like especially like when turning corners or like just turning in general. So I actually really like doing this one. So I just recommend this one. Even though it's simple, it's really effective. I got this from GCFC in his training videos, and yeah, so I recommend it. I really like it. I'm trying to think of something that kind of annoys me about this boot, and I can't really think of anything. The only thing I would say is maybe the toe box. It's just a little bit annoying that it is more on the narrow side compared to the rest of the boot. So it kind of goes from a kind of wider midfoot to like a narrow toe box, and that's just a little bit annoying, just because I kind of wish it was more like consistent all throughout. But honestly, I just got used to like the narrow toe box at this point, just because everybody makes their boots with the narrow toe box. So I just got used to it, and so I guess that's the only like small thing. But other than that, honestly, like, I really like this boot. Like, I like the touch, I like the fit, the comfort is great, performance is pretty good. Like, it's not the best, but I can't really complain about it. It does its job. Overall, it's just a really good boot. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like someone's boot of the year, just because it is that good. And so many boots have come out this year that are just fantastic, so it is kind of hard to decide which one's number one, in my opinion. Like, for me, I'm gonna have trouble deciding which one's my number one pick for this year of 2024. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Like I have been saying in the entire video, the Nike Phantom GX is a fantastic boot. It's probably one of my top 3 boots of 2024, if I'm being completely honest. I'm thinking right now quickly, it probably sits at number 3 at the moment. It's just so comfortable. I love the grip knit. Like, that touch on the ball is fantastic. Like, the grip knit actually does work. It does feel pretty sticky, like, on the ball, and it gives you like a sense of control, almost like a placebo effect, even though obviously that just, it's based on skill. And they perform well, nothing too crazy, but gets the job done. And yeah, if you guys have any questions on this boot, just leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future playtest videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.